Good evening and welcome to the city of Battle Creek, Michigan.
I was just wanting to make
She's fantastic. Thank goodness it's not me or these kids just know about Star Wars, football or something.
Oops, sorry. Here, I'll store that away. Store it. Look, that's fine. That's. There we go.
Once again, good evening and welcome to the city of Battle Creek, Michigan, and the Battle Creek City Commission meeting for January 17th, 2023. It is 7 o'clock. We're going to have a moment of silence for our invocation and then the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand at this time if you're able to for a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, everyone. First of all, I want to pull Resolution 49 to the non-consent portion of the agenda. It is on the consent agenda. We're going to pull that and move it to the consent portion, Resolution 49. Next item on our agenda is the roll call. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Commissioner Ballard,
Present.
Commissioner Lance,
Here.
Commissioner Morris. Here. Commissioner O'Donnell,
Here.
Mayor Banky,
Here.
Commissioner Reynolds,
Present.
Commissioner Simmons,
Here.
Commissioner Smith,
Present.
and Vice Mayor Sophia.
Here.
Thank you.
And I want to thank all the commissioners for being here 100%. We have 3 proclamations this evening. The first one will be for Ida McCrae Day. The second one will be for the National Day of Racial Healing. And then finally, a proclamation for Human Traffic Awareness Month in Battle Creek. So I'm going to do all 3 of these and also ask for some participation from the recipients for the individual proclamations. This proclamation has been requested by our area career center, and they are going to have a special day on Thursday, I believe, for Ida McCrae Day. Miss Ida McCrae has served the students of Calhoun County for over 50 years as a support staff educator with the Culinary Arts and Hospitality Program at the Calhoun Area Career Center in the Calhoun Intermediate School District. And whereas Miss McCrae is a tireless educator who has impacted the lives of thousands of students across both the city of Battle Creek and Calhoun County. And whereas during her time with the Culinary Arts and Hospitality Program, Ida has worked with 6 different culinary institutes and multiple administrators across the 5 decades. And whereas Ida McCrae's dedication to helping others learn and flourish has impacted the generations of students and their families. And whereas the Assistant Superintendent of Career and Technical Education, Tim Staffen, stated Ida McCrae has been a positive presence and has, over the years, shown not only technical skills in culinary arts and hospitality, but served our students and community in the capacity of helping students grow into outstanding individuals who leave high school able to learn, earn, and live. She has always exemplified the belief in all kids. Therefore, on behalf of the citizens of the city of Battle Creek, we do hereby honor this devoted community member and do hereby proclaim January 18th as Ida McCrae Day in the greater Battle Creek area in recognition of her dedication to education in the Battle Creek community. We would just like to congratulate her, and this is a surprise, and if she is watching tonight, I'm sure she's surprised too. So thank you very much. Kathy, Antea, would you please come forward?
gizmos than I can hold.
Kathy, if you could just take a minute and tell us a little bit about some of the gizmos that you brought, we'd appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for recognizing us. So about 6 years ago, a friend of mine, Dorothy McClendon, I saw her standing on a street corner holding a large red heart. If Dorothy were here today, she would appreciate my humor for her. And when I asked her what the big red heart meant, she told me that racial healing starts with a change of heart. Dorothy was also one of the instrumental individuals that started the Battle Creek Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation Collaborative. This initiative is something, we have a vision that everyone in Battle Creek can flourish with our shared humanity. And more importantly, the Battle Creek Truth, Racial Healing, and Transformation Collaborative. Again, if you Google BCTRHT, you'll get the information. We're hoping to be a catalyst for racial equity change that will transform the way we live, work, and interact as a community here in Battle Creek. Thank you.
Kathy, I don't think I could have said it any better, even in a proclamation, so I'm going to ask that a picture be taken, and if you can hold up a heart, I'll hold up the other sign, and we'll call it good. Thank you very much for coming down tonight, and...
If I may add...
Okay.
Tonight is our big community dinner, and that's why I'm the only representative here. I quickly ate dinner, fabulous food, and ran down real quick for the mayoral proclamation. So, thank you.
Our last proclamation this evening is the Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and I have two representatives from Safe Place that will be here to share some information with us and just really educate our community. So I want to thank them for being here.
Good evening. My name is Ellen Lassiter-Collier. I have the privilege of serving as the CEO of Safe Place. Many of you know that Safe Place has been serving survivors of domestic violence in Calhoun County for 2023 is our 40th year. However, in 2020, we added the service of survivors of sex trafficking to our mission as well. So we provide safety and supportive services to survivors of sex trafficking and domestic violence here in the county. And those supportive services look like our emergency shelter, which I think most people are most familiar with, 24/7 emergency shelter for folks of any gender. And we also provide legal advocacy, counseling, survivor advocacy, and prevention education in the community around these issues. And we oftentimes collaborate with sexual assault services when the victimizations or the crimes overlap. So we're proud to be serving survivors here for decades. And in honor of Human Trafficking Awareness Month, just to speak a bit about trafficking nationally and here, why we added it to our mission is, unfortunately, it is a very prevalent crime here in Calhoun County. Well, Michigan in general, and in Calhoun County, we have the fortunate or unfortunate geographic location of the intersection of two major interstates, which are oftentimes utilized for transportation of individuals for forced sex work or forced labor. We have a lot of agriculture in the state, so we do see a lot of labor trafficking, and we primarily serve survivors of sex trafficking, so individuals who are forced into sex work as a result of taking advantage of any vulnerabilities that they may have. We oftentimes see, and our partners in law enforcement have helped us along the way to getting to this point, particularly individuals who are teenagers. We can serve folks who have experienced this victimization aged 13 and up. I don't really like sharing that information, that it's necessary, but unfortunately, we really do see teenagers become vulnerable thanks to the internet. We just did a community education session last week where our staff, who are truly experts in serving these individuals, shared that about 70–75% of folks are targeted or identified for trafficking on the internet. Between social media, dating sites, work sites, et cetera, the internet is definitely a place to be cognizant of victimization and identifying and targeting folks who might have some things that make them extra vulnerable, like recent migration to the States or to Michigan in particular, substance use disorders, unstable family or household situations that might make them extra vulnerable to someone who promises to take care of them, to provide for them, and to look out for them as long as you do X, Y, Z for me. It is an unfortunate preying and victimization on vulnerabilities, and we don't like that we have to be serving folks here in the county, but we're proud to be able to do it. So thank you very much for recognizing Trafficking Awareness Month, everyone behind me, and we'd be happy to talk more about what we can provide for anyone who may have additional questions.
I want to thank you personally for your leadership and your efforts. I also want to thank your staff and board for bringing more awareness to this crime that takes place, as you said, on I-94 and I-69, two very thorough highways in our state. So I'm not going to read it because I think you did an excellent job. I will be reading it on my mayor's report. But I think it's important that as a community we come to better understand some of the vulnerabilities that we have with our youth today. So thank you very much for being here. And I'm going to have this held like this. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is Chair noting any added or deleted resolutions.
Resolutions 49, 54, 55, and 56, although not added or deleted, did have an attachment added to them.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Next item on our agenda is petitions, communications, and reports.
There were none.
Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is public comment regarding consent agenda and resolutions not on the consent agenda. If you'd like to make a public comment regarding the consent agenda and resolutions not on the consent agenda, please raise your hand and we will acknowledge you to come forward to the podium. You will have 3 minutes to make your comments. Please state your name and address before beginning your comments and indicate which resolution you are speaking to. Are there any public comments at this time? Are there any public comments? Yes, John.
John Kinnifick, 234 South Avenue. I'm speaking in regards to Resolution 57, a resolution seeking the authorization of publication of notice of intent to issue water and wastewater system revenue bonds, total of approximately $10 million. It is a $20 million loan. Apologize, that's not correct. It's a $10 million loan for 20 years at approximately 5%. Now, according to when you finally pay this off, which you never put any money aside, obviously, to deal with this matter, the interest rate over that 20-year period is $5,838,938.37, which means you're not paying something for $10 million, you're paying it for $15,838,938.37. On December 3rd, 2020 was the first commission meeting of this commission. And I asked the commissioners, but also particularly Ward 1 commissioner, to check out all the municipal bonds or loans or whatever you want to call them, to find out how many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of interest have been charged to the citizens when they took out these loans that the taxpayers had to pay for. So far, no response. At the last commission meeting, you spent $200,000 for the American Rescue Plan, $64,500 for the general public treasury to resurface the full blast pond. I asked a question. The question was, will any of you commissioners or will anybody figure out, since full blast opened, how much money has been lost as far as not making money per year? How much money have you taken from the public treasury or anywhere else and dumped it into full blast? In other words, is this thing financially stable, or is it running itself into the ground? Of course, there's no response so far. I'm still looking forward to that information, but so far there's no information. I went to speak with Linda Morrison of the Finance Department. Unfortunately, she's been on vacation this week, so I can't provide the citizens with that information at this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other public comments at this time? Are there any other public comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda. Commission comment regarding meetings and business.
I move for the approval of the consent agenda.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve the consent agenda. Are there any questions by the commissioners, comments, or clarifications? Seeing none, would you please vote on the consent agenda?
Commissioner Reynolds, is it not coming up for you?
It is not. I'll refresh it.
You can voice your vote if you'd like.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, did I?
The consent agenda has been approved.
Oh,
Next item on our agenda is Resolution 49. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
This resolution supports submittal of an application to the Michigan Department of Transportation, MDOT, for fiscal year 2024 for specialized services funding.
I move for the approval of Resolution 49.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 49. Are there any questions by the commission on this resolution? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 49?
So much there.
Resolution 49 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 53.
Pursuant to Employment Provision 296.09, Section C, no person shall be employed by the city or paid with city funds who has retired under the provisions of the Michigan Municipal Employees Retirement System. The city manager may make exceptions to this provision with the approval of the city commission when she feels the interest of the city would be served thereby. If approved, this resolution authorizes the city manager to employ retiree Bradley Waite on a part-time basis under provision 296.09, Section C.
I move for the approval of Resolution 53.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 53. Are there any comments by the commission on Resolution 53? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 53? Resolution 53 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 54. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Battle Creek Transit, BCT, is seeking funding for the continuation and expansion of our Calhoun County Coordinated Mobility Pilot operating as BC Go. Through the development and launch of the Calhoun County Mobility Pilot, BCT has been successful in expanding access to public transportation while remaining affordable, reliable, and accessible. The goals of the pilot center around the feasibility of coordinating service with other local transportation providers in the area, with focused efforts on providing public transportation to areas previously underserved. Through this next phase, it is Transit's intent to collaborate with another local transit provider to implement coordination and address the limitations that operating as a standalone agency creates. If approved, this resolution supports the submittal of an application to the Michigan Department of Transportation, MDOT, for fiscal year 2024 for service development and new technology program funding.
I move for the approval of Resolution 54.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 54. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications by the commission? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 54? Resolution 54 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 55. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
The goal of the New Freedom Program is to provide additional tools to overcome existing barriers facing Americans with disabilities seeking integration into the workforce and full participation in society. Lack of adequate transportation is a primary barrier for work for individuals with disabilities. New Freedom funding will be used to continue the mobility management model at Battle Creek Transit to coordinate transportation and implement a centralized dispatch system which coordinates services between multiple providers. Funds also support a mobility manager that works closely with community transportation partners, human service agencies, and organizations which serve vulnerable and underserved population, and provides travel training, trip planning, and additional assistance to passengers. If approved, this resolution supports the submittal of an application to the Michigan Department of Transportation for fiscal year 2024 for New Freedom funding.
I move for the approval of Resolution 55.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 55. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications by the commission at this time? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 55? Resolution 55 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 56. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
If approved, this resolution authorizes the city manager to submit to MDOT an application for financial assistance for fiscal year 2024 under Act Number 51 of the Public Acts of 1951. Furthermore, this resolution also authorizes the city manager to execute any agreements for the funds requested in the attached application. Battle Creek Transit's Local Coordinating Committee, LCC, met on January 10, 2023 to review and discuss the application. Also, Battle Creek Transit's Local Advisory Council, LAC, met January 17, 2023 to review and discuss Battle Creek Transit's vehicle accessibility plan included in the application. A 30-day public comment period is scheduled for January through February to receive feedback on the application.
I move for the approval of Resolution 56.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve Resolution 56. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications needed by the commission at this time? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 56? Resolution 56 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 57. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
The State of Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy has issued a notice of deficiency to the city based on issues related to well casings and contamination at the Verona well field. The city's finance department is working to secure bond financing to complete needed improvements to the system, estimated at approximately $8.1 million. The Revenue Bond Act requires the city to notify electors of its intent to issue bonds by publishing a notice which gives the voters a referendum right on the issuance of the bonds. The bonds can be issued without a vote of the city electors unless a petition is filed with the city clerk within 45 days of publication of the notice. The city's water system does not currently have any outstanding debt and will be able to accommodate the expense of the debt service from current revenues. Furthermore, this debt issuance was a planned part of the rate study recently completed for the water and wastewater systems. This resolution, if approved, authorizes the publication of a notice of intent to issue water and wastewater system revenue bonds.
I move for the approval of Resolution 57.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 57. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications needed by the commission at this time on Resolution 57? Seeing none, would you please vote on Resolution 57? Resolution 57 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 58. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
In 2015, the Battle Creek City Commission authorized its fire department to participate in the Calhoun County, Michigan Mutual Aid Box Alarm System, which is a subsection of the Michigan Mutual Aid Box Alarm System and is a user-driven system designed to streamline the requesting and providing of emergency and fire service resources across Michigan for day-to-day mutual aid and for large-scale events such as major fires, train derailments, tornadoes, wildfires, domestic or foreign terrorism, and other events that may overwhelm local resources. The Michigan Mutual Aid Box Alarm System has created Task Force 1, organized for the purpose of meeting the needs of the state of Michigan as it relates to urban search and rescue, USNR. If approved, this resolution authorizes the Battle Creek Fire Department to participate in the Michigan Mutual Aid Box Alarm System Task Force 1.
I move for the approval of a proclamation, Resolution 58.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 58. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications needed by the commission? I see we have the chief, the battalion chief, and 4 young men in the back row.
No.
Would you like to make a comment on this?
There's a female. There's a female. Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. The difference with Task Force 1, this is Urban Search and Rescue, or USAR. This allows members of our department to participate in the Michigan statewide Task Force 1, or USAR team. USAR teams were used after 9/11. They're used after hurricanes, earthquakes, landslides, major tornadoes, so on and so forth. This allows our members to participate and then be protected insurance-wise, liability, and all those things. This is a formal agreement to add on to that. Jonathan, did I say that right?
Well, thank you, Chief. Are there any questions of the chief on this? We thank you for your proactiveness.
Thank you.
Any other comments by the commission? If not, please vote on Resolution 58. Resolution 58 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is Resolution 59. Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
On July 6, 2021, the City Commission approved Resolution Number 180, establishing a policy regarding flag display. This policy declares that the city's flagpoles are not intended to serve as a forum for free expression of the public, but rather for the display of federal, state, and city flags, or the temporary replacement of the city flag with any commemorative flag as may be authorized by resolution of the City Commission as an expression of the city's official sentiments. If approved, this resolution, in accordance with established flag policy, hereby authorizes staff to fly the Pan-African flag at City Hall from noon on January 18, 2023 through February 17, 2023.
I move for the approval of Resolution 59.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 59. Are there any comments, questions, or clarifications needed by the City Commission? Roger, you look like you're ready to say something.
Yeah, well, I thought I read in my homework that the flag was going to fly through the end of February. Did they decide that they could only do it for 30 days, or?
I'm going to let our Assistant City Manager or Attorney answer that.
Yeah, just to clarify quickly, the policy only allows for 30 consecutive days.
Okay. Can't hear your mic, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just to clarify, is that a little better?
Yeah.
Just to clarify that the city's policy only allows for 30 consecutive days.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Commissioner Vice Mayor Sophia.
Thank you, Mayor. As I've stated several times before, I think that this is a flawed policy. I received some communication from the city attorney this afternoon. Unfortunately, it came in too late for me to actually have a chance to review it and have a conversation with her. I still, just on the surface, some of the concerns that I have remain, and so I will be voting no on this resolution. Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, Chris.
Yeah, I have no.
Commissioner Simmons, sorry.
That's okay, Mark. No, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no particular issue with this flag. In fact, I did a little research and learned about it. I really didn't know the background, and I think it's pretty cool. And then I understand the city previously has flown the Pride flag, which I have no issue whatsoever with that as a symbol. What I do, I guess I kind of share the sentiments of the Vice Mayor of the policy that federal, state, and local flags, but then at the discretion. So what happens when a flag comes along that we do have an issue with it? I mean, I guess we could deny that, but then are we picking and choosing who has a voice to run up our flagpole? So I really think by the way, we do have mechanisms in the city. We had 3 resolutions, 3 proclamations earlier. There are mechanisms for the city to recognize different events, and I think that's where we need to steer these kind of things too. So, yeah, I would like to see us possibly reopen this ordinance and change that. So it has the potential, I think, to cause some contentious issues. This particular flag, not contentious to me. The Pride flag, not contentious. But I'm concerned about what might happen in the future. So.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commission comments, questions, or clarifications? Commissioner Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll kind of echo the comments made by the Vice Mayor and Commissioner Sims as well, too. I have no issue whatsoever with the Pan-African flag or the Pride flag or even religious flags that I see about town. What happens is I see when these things happen, though, and perhaps that's the intent, to spark some sort of debate, is it often becomes very, very, a very negative experience for a lot of folks who are trying to do something very positive. So with that in mind, I'd like to see the policy, get some more additional work, and that's where my head is at. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Any other commission comments?
Mayor, yeah. I would just like to ask any commissioners that are having an issue with it, that they work with the city employees and tell them what you want to know. Because I think what they put out in our homework clarifies it.
Thank you very much. Are we prepared to vote? Please vote on Resolution 59. Resolution 59 has been approved. Next item on our agenda is general public comment. If you'd like to make general public comment regarding matters over which the City Commission has control, please raise your hand and wait for us to acknowledge you, and then come forward to the podium. You will have 3 minutes to make your comment. Please state your name and address prior to beginning your comment. We have any general public? David Moore, please.
My name is David Moore. I wasn't here last week. I heard the comments on these marijuana. These lawyers and the business owners come up here, give their public comment. Us regular people were only allowed 3 minutes for a public comment. But these people came up here, asked for additional time, and you give it to them. They had 10, 15 minutes maybe. They come up here. We come up here, we only got allowed 3 minutes, and a lot of time, our times are cut. I can't prove it, but I know it's been done. And these guys could come up here, these lawyers, these business people, talk about their business for on and on and on. They get their time in. They want more time, you guys give it to them. And they can come up here and do whatever they say and do whatever they please. I hear President Obama, a fair shake for everybody. And this, to me, this don't look like a public comment. It's not a fair shake. If we can have 10, 15 minutes, and here we are even cut short our time, I think that's not fair, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, David, for your comment. Are there any other public comments at this time? Are there any other? John Kennefic, please.
John Kennefic, 234 South Avenue. First of all, I find it interesting that the fire department came up here when the public comment was finished. I have no problems with the fire department whatsoever, but when you give them special treatment and tell basically the rest of the citizens they don't apply, you know, it shows a one-sided game. The other thing that was said about the flag, if you new commissioners ever bother to go back when you passed the resolutions for the flags to be different up there, you might be interested in the comments I made. Not that they were that great, but you're echoing them right now. The same thing that was said before. If somebody comes along and says, I'm a member of da-da-da-da, and you don't like it, well, they can come back and sue you for discrimination because you opened the door for that. Finally, last but not least, I have this article at home that came with me from California, from a well-popular magazine, and the name of the article was called America's Going Broke. And it explained that a little over $500 billion was in the national debt way back in 1976 when this article was published. Now, if you had to think about that for a little bit, that was like 1960 debt, 1961, 1962, 1963, all up to 1976 when the article was published. And basically, I said it was about $500 billion. Now, the uninsured debt liability was $2.4 trillion at that time in 1976. And he gave a comparison. He says if everybody in the United States back in 1976 sold their houses, their cars, took all the money out of their checking accounts, sold everything, every citizen took that money and put it against the $2.4 trillion, maybe it might pay off that debt. Well, I'm kind of surprised here because I pulled up the U.S. debt clock, and then you tap on real time. And right now it's heading towards, right now it's 180, what it says here, $180 trillion for the uninsured debt liability. More than a year or two back, at least, I said that every citizen of Battle Creek owed that uninsured debt liability along with the debt, which is about $250,000 on the national debt. And you add them together and you end up with about every citizen, every taxpayer in the United States owes back to the federal government about $1.5 million, and that was a few years back. When it breaches, it's already breached $180 trillion right now and heading towards $181 trillion. When you go a little bit further, it won't be $1.5 million you owe back to the uninsured debt liability and the national debt. You'll owe $1,750,000. Basically a $250,000 increase for every taxpayer. I wonder where all that money got spent. Where did it all go? Where'd the national debt things go? And if you haven't listened to the Congress of the United States, stop, ran out of time. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments at this time? Seeing none, any commission comments at this time? Yes, Patrick O'Donnell.
I know we're doing it. We've talked about the chief retiring, and no one's said anything about it. But today there's a press release about his retirement party. I believe it's the 24th of January. So check it out on the website. And I'd like to thank the new interim chief, Bagley, for showing up this evening. So good to see you, sir. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Any other commission comment at this time? If not, meeting's adjourned. Thank you for attending.